Blitz Esports releases new videos every week. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out.
So what do you think Blizzard's biggest success or achievement has been over this first year? Like, what's something that you think they have done completely right?
The stage environment, pretty much, like how it looks, how it feels, the setup and how serious it is, like in terms of the equipment and stuff. The whole setup is really, really good. I feel like it's very professional, and also they've pretty much integrated, like good jokes and side stuff, except from the just pure gameplay, which is what I think is the best way to do it. Adding more stuff that is like personality and creativity into the broadcast. They're doing that pretty well.
The follow-up to that is, what do you think are some steps Blizzard can take over the next season or two to improve the experience and the health of the game in the league?
In terms of the health of the game, that's a little bit of a complicated topic, but for the health of the league itself, maybe not its health, but maybe more its success, I feel like engagement with the viewers and the fans, and going like out of their way to make the players sort of part of the broadcast and sort of part of the whole thing, instead of having the players just walk up, play, and get out, which for me it's kind of hard to get to know the players, and sort of hard to see them as people instead of just players. I think if you integrate that properly, you'll have. I think it have more success, like we've seen in Fortnite a little bit, where every Fortnite tournament, even though it's a game that sort of welcomes that, but you see a lot of POVs of players themselves with the camera and stuff, and it's much more personal. And there's a lot of like streamers and stuff in Fortnite. I mean, it's still complicated, but
yeah,
just adding like personality to the game I think is important for the success of the league. I think having just gameplay, I think it'll stagnate and go down a little bit, which is what I think League of Legends is going through. For me, like I used to watch League of Legends back then, all the tournaments, and it's been going down a little bit, interest, and not much like rivalries and stuff.
Do you have any personal ideas or concepts of things that Blizzard can implement to get people more connected to the players?
What I like is when we hear the players talk in the game.
Listen.
Right? When there's a small segment where you hear the comms. If there were stuff like that for like one person whenever he dies or does a big play, like, ooh, let's go see what happened in his POV. They can edit it beforehand where they show him, like camera zooms in a little bit. Oh, let's go, dude. That's pretty sick, I think, and that makes you feel like, hey man, that I do that sometimes at the computer. I relate to this. I think that's really important.
Talking about the meta of the game itself, do you see any kind of pressing balance changes that you think need to be addressed?
Okay, so this is kind of a tough topic because there's a lot of problems and not a lot of solutions for them. Since a lot of I feel like kits are a little overloaded, like Bridget, where the game feels a little clunky to play. It's a little choppy, like stun hack, stun pushback, boop. There's so many things that make you lose control. I think main thing has lost its value entirely, and it's lost its flair. It's very, very boring to play. And if you want to play to win and also in rank, playing main tank it's very, very boring, and it's very distant from the experience that we used to have in the early seasons, like season maybe 1 to 5, where Ryan was much more like a pillar to the team instead of like a toy. And I think anti-fun mechanics and fun police stuff is probably not the way to go. So having maybe like a new character that would maybe help with that, or maybe redoing the kits of characters that are a little overloaded would be good. But that's like so many changes, and it's a big discussion, so it's kind of hard. Players' feedback is always there, but there's more to it.
As a main tank player yourself, how do you manage to stay relevant in this teams where Ryan is just a pinata and Winston's getting bashed around?
I think it's finding ways to be useful, even when it's not doing damage, charging properly, doing good shatters, doing big plays. It's the way to bait teams properly, baiting and peeling, like fake jumping, fake charging, like just doing things to make the enemy pull the trigger on something that is like a mistake.
I demand it.
From the they found him.
Shawfar as well got knocked off. xQc gets on with him. Oh no! I can get it! I killed! He's getting free! This is not how it was supposed to go! This wasn't in the script!
poking around, finding flanks and stuff, just like going around a little bit. It's a little, like I said, it's a little boring to play, but you can still be effective and still climb. But it really, it's not what it used to be at all.
How do you think Hammond has affected the game? Do you think he's been a positive influence on the game? Do you think he adds, something that's a little too tough to play around?
Hammond is a little bit of a weird character, and I think it's kind of hard to put him in the meta, and his role isn't really defined as others. I think it's hard to say Hammond does this in this comp. Like it's just a little still a little nebulous. I think it's just hard to put in a comp. People have had success in a lot of different ways. I feel like Pile Driver is very, very good when combined with other dives. But with Summer being so good right now and the hack being so short to cast, whenever he gets hacked, he's just like a feeding ultra, like a huge battery. So it's gonna be interesting to see where how the meta shapes up and how he fits in it.
And so how do you feel your role in the community is going to evolve, maybe over the next couple of years or a couple of seasons? Or how would you like it to evolve?
That's kind of a tough question because you really never know. Like it's esports and streaming, like everything goes like a bunch of ways and kind of unpredictable. I'd like to be involved on both like the Overwatch and maybe like the Overwatch pros and stuff and still like be sort of in, if I can be like, like an Overwatch League or whatever, even if I want that, nobody knows. But I like to still be part of it, like still be relevant in that regard, and still do the stream, do my stuff, and do other stuff, like explore other areas of streaming, because I think streaming is like gives a lot of freedom. I can do whatever, like IRL, just go outside. I love doing just random stuff. So these things might take me to places that I like and I like more, so I might go these directions. So pretty much random.
When Seagull said he was going back to full-time streaming, you called it the best decision ever made. Why do you think that was such a no-brainer and good decision?
Seagull has a big following, and I think he stopped streaming a while back when it was Korean stuff. And even though his following he was still pretty loyal when he came back. It kind of sucks to put so much effort into streaming, and knowing that you're like sort of failing them, and you're sort of not streaming that much. And I know that he was feeling maybe a little guilty for not streaming, and I know he likes it. And on top of that, in the next coming seasons, maybe there's going to be more traveling, more involvement with the team. So, flying to Dallas, going back to LA, a lot of, content stuff. And it can be a lot if you're trying to stream and play. And it's a lot of pressure. And maybe at the end of the day, it's probably also less money. So for me, what I saw is that it's less pressure, more rewarding, and he tried competing, but I don't know if that's what how can I say this? I feel like maybe competing was a little different than he thought it would be, and it wasn't as rewarding for him. So having just being a streamer is much more calm, and like I said, you have a lot of freedom in what you want to do. So I'm happy for him. I think that's actually the best move.
If a fan wants to help contribute to the community or the success of Overwatch, what do you think is the number one thing a fan can do?
I think it's just be involved. Just care or act like they care. Maybe people that try to make like third-party content, like stuff like the Harsha video like a while back. These things take a lot of involvement and take a lot of thinking to do and a lot of work. And when these pop up, maybe give them a little boost, and it goes a long way. I think there's not a lot of content creators in Overwatch, and it'd be nice to see more of them.
Do you have any message to the fans, people watching at home? Just something you'd like to say, shout out.
Shout out to everyone that watches like Overwatch events, whatever it's World Cup, third-party tournament, Overwatch League. It's always nice to see people excited to see people play, because it's exciting to play, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, and thanks for sticking around.
Blitz Esports Overwatch releases new videos every week. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out.